Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Helen Zhen, and I'm the professional developer working at the Lemelson-MIT Program. Hope you all had a great holiday. Happy New Year. Thanks a lot for your interest in this webinar this evening, and welcome you all. As a lot of you are aware of, we are offering a series of free webinars once every 2 weeks, featuring topics essential to invention education. Today we will talk about how to develop empathy during invention projects. This webinar will be recorded and posted online so that you can review them at your convenience. After this webinar, we will send out a separate email about how to access the recording and the next webinar, which will be on facilitating projects that involve molding and casting using materials such as rubber. So please keep an eye on the email. So for today's webinar, please post your questions in the chat window. At the end of the presentation, we will have about 5 minutes to answer the questions. You don't need to turn on the microphone on your computer. Okay, let's get started. First, briefly introduce our program. The Lemelson-MIT Program is a multifaceted program for inventors at all ages. We have over 15 years of experience working with high school teachers and students and middle school teachers and students on invention projects, specifically through our 3 education programs: the Inventive Grants Initiative, JV Inventive Grants Initiative, and Eureka Fest, which is a celebration of all invention and inventors at MIT every June. We offer free curriculum materials and staff help on promoting invention education in school and after-school settings. Today, I'm very happy to invite Vicky and Leon Grant, 2 very experienced invention teachers from Georgia, to co-host today's webinar with me. They are going to share their experience of helping students develop empathy during invention projects. A brief introduction of Leon and Vicky. Leon is a pre-engineering teacher at Marietta High School in Georgia. He is the director of the K-12 engineering pipeline of Marietta City Schools. Leon is a teacher and a leader in engineering education. He has won several awards, including the Leader in Engineering Education Award from the Women in Engineering Proactive Network, the Discover E-Educator Award, and the ACTE Award. Before Leon became a teacher, he has worked in the industry as an engineer for 10 years. Vicky is a physical science teacher of the STEM Magnet program at Marietta Middle School. She has over 20 years of experience implementing project-based learning in classrooms. Vicky currently is working on her dissertation at Piedmont College. Her dissertation will be about examining middle school teachers teaching engineering in science classrooms. So welcome, Leon and Vicky. You both have extensive experience in invention for example, Leon, about 10 years ago, you led the Hiram High School invented automated floor mop and dryers, which is kind of getting into everyday life nowadays. But you invented that about 10 years ago. Since then, you and Vicky have been implementing all the wonderful invention and engineering projects with students. Can you tell us more about some of the projects that you recently worked on?
Okay. Well, we're currently working on the overall theme is the engineering pipeline. And within the engineering pipeline, there's the Haiti Container Building Project and the Earl's Lab. So if you look at the image here, this is a site in Haiti, a scale model of a site in Haiti, which will have a public area, 4 vocational type classroom areas and workshop areas, and then also areas for experimental gardens, greenhouses, and so forth. And then on our campus, we are currently building a 4,000 square foot plus building out of used shipping containers. So the Haiti Container Building Project is this multi-year project that spans K-12 as well as post-secondary and industry partners, where the students are being mentored by professionals and actually developing um, ideas, tools, technologies that will be transferred to Haiti. So Vicky can tell you a little bit about what the elementary and the middle school is doing, and then I can tell you about the high school and kind of explain the layout of the Earl's Lab.
Hello. One example of the K-12 integration as it relates to eighth grade, our standards are for physical science, and our part in the Earl's Lab is to design playground equipment that does work. This aligns with our physical standards, science standards of force, mass, motion. So the students go through the engineering design cycle to design playground equipment or something that does work. Our audience is the school children that will come with their parents to this multi-purpose center to learn trade or to even shop.
So the elementary students also are engaged by doing some small aquaponic type projects, composting, seed bed development, and then the high school students are, we probably have 50 projects that kids are engaged with. Some students are designing solar ovens, solar dehydrators. Some are designing, like even for instance, the windows in the containers. One student is coming up with that design. One student is taking recycled paper and processing it with concrete to insulate the inside. So the idea behind the Earl's Lab, which stands for Engineering and Architecture Research Laboratory for Sustainability, is it provides a living test bed that students can take ideas and actually build prototypes and go through several iterations to see if it works. So this building is completely off the grid. We will generate our own electricity. We also have a 13 kilowatt gas generator, but they'll be growing aquaponics in the building, capturing rainwater. And this side here is a residence area which will simulate what we'll have in Haiti, which will house 6 adults, males on one side, 6 females on the other side, a bathroom in the middle. Then there's a galley and a living area. Downstairs is going to be the workshop where we will actually have machine tools out there. Upstairs is an atrium, classroom space. This is storage area for materials and some workshop space and other classroom space up here. So that's
Wow.
the Earl's Lab.
Yeah. Wow, this is amazing. I can't wait to see the smiling faces of the Haiti kids once we have this.
You
Yeah.
know,
Great. Thank you for sharing this. Yeah. Now, before we talk more about how you help students develop empathy in all these projects, let's briefly talk about what empathy is. First, empathy in a general sense is our ability to see the world through other people's eyes, to see what they see, feel what they feel, and experience what they experience. So, of course, we know none of us can actually fully experience things the way somebody else does, but we are trying to do this as best as or as close as we can. Developing empathy is the most important step in invention cycle, and it directly ensures that the invention is going to be useful to the beneficiaries. So empathy underlines the whole invention cycle. That's why in the picture on the right side here, you can see this uh, empathy is in gray and it's kind of behind the whole cycle. Invention phases like finding problems, researching, designing, or building or testing are all based on a empathic understanding of the users and their needs. Research has suggested that empathy are key in inspiring designers' creativity and solutions. They specifically propose, you can see, 2 categories or 4 types of empathy human beings can develop. First, the empathic distress or concerns are related to the affective domains or the feelings, because of the feeling for some others. An example of this empathic distress is that a student could feel distressed because of the feeling for the Haiti kids, because they feel they can feel about the pain and all the kind of the distress, all the kind of feelings because of the earthquake. And the second big category is called imagine self perspective taken or the imagine others perspective taken. They are all about imagining how myself or others would think or feel if they were another person or in another situation. Again, an example of imagine other perspective taken is imagine how my classmates might think or feel if they were the Haiti kids. So these all four types of empathy coexist in students, or it could be in any human beings. And research has shown that all this empathy can be cultivated or developed through a lot of ways, which we're going to talk about later. Here, I'm just giving an example of a design with empathy. The DIY girls inventive. Last year, they invented a portable tent featuring solar-powered LEDs, a cell phone charger, and UVC LED sanitation features. And this invention actually tried to solve two problems for homeless women, especially mothers who have kids who both are homeless. The first problem is the homeless people in Los Angeles area must clear their temporary street lodging between 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. every day. The second problem is Los Angeles provide free cell phones to homeless women, but they are homeless, so they don't have a place to charge their phones. This invention actually was so well received locally that the local government now is working with the DIY girls try to make the tent available to a lot of homeless women. When we try to ask why the girls they decide to invent the tent, one girl actually told us, my family is only one paycheck away from the sidewalk. So this is their initial inspiration for the invention. Based on their empathy, they talked with a lot of their friends, their peers, even classmates, even those homeless children who are on the street to get to understand about their needs. And then even now, they are still refining their designs by testing their tents with homeless people in the local community. So this is an example of how with empathy, how kids can do. These are all the high school kids. So now we are going to talk about some ways, just to summarize, empathy refers to the deep emotional understanding of the user's needs and can inspire inventors for solutions and creativity. But exactly how, as a teacher or as an educator, how can you do this? How can you help students develop empathy, especially within middle school students and high school students? Lea and Vicky, I know you guys have tried some of the strategies. Can you talk about the strategies?
Okay. So just because of time, I'm just going to run through this quickly, but I would talk about just how we utilize the problem statement to help us understand the problem and go through that, because that helps you to imagine or get a different perspective. So I'm not going to spend the time I would on that, but I would just say, because I mean, it's 6:45 now.
Okay. Yeah, so as Leon just mentioned, it's always encourage students to do a deep scoping of the problem to understand this problem. Yeah, now can you talk more about the problems your kids find?
Okay. So, well, the first thing we did when we looked at the Haiti project, we took a broad overview of where was this at? Where was La Habra, Haiti, and what was the condition? And so you can see that Vicky will share a little bit about what they did at the middle school to even go a deeper dive into that. And we initially looked at some large problems and also came up with some pretty broad conceptual solutions to go along with these problems.
great.
At the middle school, it was really important for us to have the kids move to a place where they saw, yes, we need to help. They're concrete learners. So first we had to show them using the team approach. In social studies, the teacher talked about, well, where is Haiti? La'ab, Haiti, the latitude and longitude, what's the economy there? And it was during that historical context that the students realized that an average family lives off of $2 or less a day. And so we wanted to drive that point home and let them see how much they live off a day. So one of the other teachers came up with the $2 a day campaign, and we put around posters, and especially in the cafeteria, because at that time they were selling chips and cookies and they were $1. And that helped the kids to see that, wow, I'm spending half of what someone would earn in a whole day on just one item. The kids were moved to empathy to want to help after they saw the need, and because of the historical context of finding out about the earthquake and the demise of the infrastructure of the country, they wanted to help. Immediately, they completely orchestrated, advertised, collected, counted, sized clothing. The whole school brought in clothing. They raised money through a school dance and presented that a big check to the pre-engineering program at the high school, the Haiti Container Project, and those funds were used to buy school supplies that school year, as well as they sent clothes to Haiti that school year.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. So, Vicky, is this in your classroom where you bring an expert through WebEx? Can you
Yes,
tell us
as
about this?
yes, that was building the foundation. Megan Sharp, as well as two other partners to the engineering program, had actually been to La'ab, Haiti. And she entered our classroom through WebEx. And you can see a picture down on the left of all the teachers' classrooms. And she was showing the actual footage of what the soil looked like, what the animals, the plants. So it just took identifying, empathizing with the design cycle to a different level. They actually saw latrines. They actually saw the conditions, the raw conditions that the people there have to live in. So that really brought their designs to a whole new level, because they couldn't use something that wasn't readily available to the people there.
Wow, yeah. Kids must have learned a lot. I was looking at this notebook on the right side. Yeah, I really amazed about students' notes on this. Yeah.
Yeah, they were taking the notes.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So Leon, can you tell us about the story you use in your classroom to help?
Problem. There was a real interesting story on NPR about these group of people called the Baroque. And these are the people that actually would go into outhouses and clean them out. In the we don't have the video, I mean the audio, but the audio was really riveting because it was a narrative, it was told in a narrative, and you could hear the sounds. And it talked about how these four men at night would go into a latrine that was a hole about 15 feet deep. And the way they normally cleaned the latrine out was they would be completely naked, get down into the hole, and with their bare hands hand up buckets of human waste. And all of this, they got about $2 a day. Not only that, but they actually had a stigma associated with the job that they did. So we used that to introduce the idea of composting toilets and why that was so needed. So again, it helped them to experience what it would be like to have to deal with this. So that was an example of empathetic distress that you can almost imagine yourself having to go down in that hole and do that. It was real impactful.
Yeah, this would really be depressing to the students for them to imagine this. Yeah. So Vicky, you just mentioned about students are doing this school-wide clothes driving and fundraiser. Can you talk more about that part?
Yes, the students were moved to do something. So they created the whole advertisement. They created those posters that you see, and they marked them every day to show the whole school the progress that the whole school was making. This is posted on the front window of the office, which is the main place of entry of the school. And they would also announce over the intercom how the goal was coming. The students, when they received bags and bags and bags of clothes, they folded each of them, they sized them, they categorized them and packed them in boxes, and then labeled the boxes for children ages so and so or adult these size shoes. And then they, through a church initiative, sent the clothes to Haiti. And the people there took pictures of the Haitians receiving the clothes, and then the church emailed the teacher back with pictures. And I'll never forget the students, when they saw these pictures, they said, oh, they got my shoes, they're wearing my pants. The impact on their face that they can make a difference still gives me goosebumps every time I tell that story. It was just phenomenal to see that a group of students and a school could have such far-reaching impact.
Yeah, that's amazing. Having all this like a $2 per day campaign, all the school-wide clothes, and also the fundraiser, all these activities will help students develop empathy with regarding the project they are working on. So thank you very much for sharing all this experience, all the stories. And we were just mentioning about those kind of methods like using photos, using videos, or using stories to help students. But there are other ways that we can potentially develop empathy. For example, one way could be you conduct interviews with the users or beneficiaries to understand their needs. Or another strategy, which is often called in industry called body storm, which means you actually use your body to physically act as the user or the beneficiary. For example, if you want to design something for the senior citizens, you can apply Vaseline on your glass, try to understand what the problem of senior citizens when they are trying to see something so that you can get an idea about what they are struggling and understand their needs. For the rest of this page, we purposefully leave this page blank. So if you have any ideas or you tried some methods, please help us filling this page with this. You can post the methods in the chat window so that everybody can see it. And after today's webinar, we will add all those strategies in our slides. Thank you very much for doing that. Yeah. Okay, so I will leave you guys 1 or 2 minutes while I will quickly talk about the resources. Yeah. Okay, so here are some resources listed on the Lemelson-MIT website, including the Invent team, the JV Invent team, and also the Inventor Archive. I know our Inventor Archive, typically every Tuesday is a time we can see a lot of the students visited because they're working on history, on the famous inventors. We list a lot. I strongly recommend you look into that. And here are other resources that we think are useful. For example, we have the MIT D Lab. MIT D Lab is a lab in MIT specifically working on a lot of design projects for people with special needs. For example, one of the famous design they specifically create wheels for wheelchair users. And from their website, you can read a lot of stories about how they develop empathy and how they worked in their projects. And also, Dr. Gad Gale is a professor at the University of California, Berkeley, and he specifically designed or invented the duffel stove, which is for females, women in African in poor area where they don't have any electricity or cannot easily have access to the firewood. So with this stove, they can still cook without all these materials. And for the paper, for the article on the Edwick is talking about specifically how as a teachers you can build empathy in classrooms. I will recommend you if you're a classroom teachers, you want to build that, try to click on that. And the design for the other 90% is also a website which documents the needs for the other 90% of people on Earth who needs help. And we also put the Stanford D School Bootcamp brochure. That's a brochure with over 30 different methods to develop empathy. Some of those were talked in our webinar, and they include a lot of that. You can potentially use that. And also we have the Marietta City Schools Engineering Pipeline link. And if you want to know about the heating container project and know more about Lea and Vicky's work, please feel free to check them out. Okay, so